What it do, what it do, what it do, everybody. It's your boy King Crowder back again with another edition of Live on Sunday. Today's week, man, it's been so good, man. Welcome for all. If you haven't got to enjoy yourself, let me turn my light up a little bit, look a little dark, right? Look a little better for people in the back. Let me know trash or grass, whichever one you think, right? Man, welcome again, man. You already know how we do here. Sunday is the first day of the week. This is the time we check in and we discuss any and everything. If you did not know, sports is officially back too. Sports are back. Politics, social life, everything is always going to be discussed. I'm just happy to be here with the gang. So, number one, check in, man. I hope your week been good. This is that time where you check in with yourself. You talk to people about what you've been doing particularly. How your week been. With me, man, just getting back into the grind. You know, vacation was amazing. Went up to the 757, got to see my homies, got to see my dog, and getting back into that routine after you travel always takes a while. I don't care what anybody says. The number one gem you need to know, after you travel, you get back home, you need at least 2 days back off. I don't know if it's a time zone switch. I don't know if it's in an airplane you ain't supposed to be in there. You need that day or two just to mentally get your mind right the way you used to be, man. You do. And I think once you get that, it goes a little bit smoother, but that first week back after you're trying to get back in the grind ain't never the same, man. I don't know what it is called, the vacation slump, the turmoil, the food that hits you. Whatever we do, man, you could always tell that week getting back is a hellacious week, man. So now that we're here, man, today's topic on live, new investments. Let me start before I get going. New laptop, new mic, new camera, man. Remember, the most important thing in life, lesson in life I can tell anybody, you know what it is, y'all? It's not what you say you gonna man. It's what you do. Keeping your word to yourself and making sure your actions follow through. New investments are officially paying off for the Carolina game. I'm excited to see these things come about. I'm excited to keep building to the channel. Just let myself grow and continue to grow. Today's topic, life will humble you. Men and women live a different world. You know, I love to say that, right? But today's lesson is about how life can be a humbling experience. And I want to use social, political, and sports figures. Our first person that we need to come at quick, how life will humble you. He's somebody I actually like. It's a man I admire. I think what his message is, who he is as a person, what he's doing for his kids, his family, his legacy is admirable. But we got to talk about it. Because in the man world, you are based off your results. And the results you get come from the work you put in. So this guy, Coach Prime, it's been year 2 in this program, right? It's been year 2 with the videos, the networking, everything that Coach Prime said he was going to do. And if I don't be a fair person, that's one thing I got to be. I'm always give it to you straight. Straight, no chaser. No fugazi, no lying. That ain't what we do here. We always keep it 1,000. We lay it on the hammer, lay it on everything, the concrete, on the pavement, whatever you want to say from the bottom. Coach Prime right now, y'all, I'm going to say it. He look overrated. The slogans he's using, smart, fast, discipline, and focus, he uses those, but the people that he has around him, especially the players and the coaches, don't look that way. Coach Prime looked good when he was in a smaller tier, which is a SWAT. But now he in the Big 12 of Colorado. Maybe it could be this early on. But right now, his weaknesses are glaringly shown. It makes me think, number one, football is hard. You get it, right? Coaching football, coaching men, leading young men, it is very hard to do. What he did at that program was miles of leaps and bounds of what he was going to say. I agree with that. I am not going to sugarcoat what the brother has done. I think it's been monumental. I do. But now that we are here, we're starting to see those little trinkets of things coming back up. Number one, he claims that the discipline is there, but his sons don't seem to discipline. They look good in winning, but when adversity or problems hit, I see a little weaknesses in them. I don't know what it is, y'all. I'll give myself as an example. When you come from means, especially men come from means, that dog ain't inside of them. What do I mean by that? I can tell they come from above average means. And when you got cats that are truly hungry that have to figure it out, they work harder. Travis Hunter, you can tell he wants it. I can see the work ethic in his eyes, his work ethic, the way he goes after the ball. You can tell he is fighting for something. I don't see that in Sanders kids. You don't. You don't see that next level of aggression. You don't see that next level of want to. I see Coach Prime definitely got it at his age, but I don't see that energy translating into his son. I don't see that translating to the smart, discipline, focus on the field that he's emphasizing. I don't see the fruits of those labors. I know what his focus was supposed to be on. I know what he claimed that was going to be the focal point of his offense and his defense. But what I'm seeing right now is missing severely. It is no way Matt Rule and Coach Prime are teaching the same team. Nebraska's team, through and through, look more physical, stronger, gifted, talented. Doing like the same program. From as much juice and accolades as they got, that game wasn't even close, y'all. To be at 4 touchdowns before you even made a play with you not even running the ball, it lets me know that you want to play outside. We got to know what field you on, man. And for you to be a football coach in a big sport, to be who you are, you ain't did it. I know what your mouth say. I know what your energy say. I know what the clips. I know what the video said. But when you step on that field, on that hardwood, face to face, chest to chest, man to man, the gap is glaring. I'm not calling you wild. I'm never calling you not good, Coach Prime. I love you, man. I admire you. Love you as a person. This field, man, year 2, progression ain't there. It ain't. And there's no shade, but the way you respond in the media now, the way you don't like the way people say something to you, the responses, the lack of sensitivity about how your boys are getting played, man. Let me say something that everybody don't know. His boys gonna get the Lonzo Ball treatment. Remember LeVar Ball years ago, y'all, was real talking to town, and he made sure to talk about how great his sons were. You know what happened to him? They put an X on their back. Everybody they faced wanted to target them. Everybody that saw them wanted to make sure they put a 40 on them. I don't think he understands that they're going to get that same treatment. The way he chastises, the way he goes to the media, the way he says something is letting you know, like, wow, this is a real thing. You feel me? Like, they're going to get that same treatment, and they don't even understand why that is happening. And the wild thing about it, y'all, when you see these actions in real time, we don't know, like, man, why do you feel like that about him, man? Why do Coach Prime get this much negative buzz? Why do they hate on the cat? And I'm going to go too briefly on this interview so you can see it, man. You know, sometimes the video's worth 1,000 words. Fair
All right,
you.
let's just address the elephant in the room. I can only speak with y'all for a few minutes tonight because Child Protective Services is going to track me down for what happened to Shadur tonight. Shadur was getting hit so hard. I half expected gold rings to start shooting out of his body. Anyway, tonight is just the latest example that having Shadur and Travis Hunter on this roster is like parking a Lamborghini in front of a double wide. All right, let's just address the elephant in the room. I can only speak with y'all for a few minutes tonight because Child Protective Services is going to track
definitely
me
ain't
down
Coach Prime,
for
y'all.
what happened.
Let me not even say that.
Shadur was.
Let me not even go with Coach like that.
You know,
That's Coach right here.
I don't really care what I see after a game. I care what I see in the game. Leader leads in the game. I don't want to hear no leader in the locker room leading. You get your butt kicked. I want to see you lead there, because if you don't lead there, they're not going to listen to you in there. So I could care less who's rallying them up at the end and leading the prayer in there at the end. I don't care about that. I want to who's leading us out there. You know, in the timeout, who's getting them together? Who's telling them to run? When change of possession, who's telling them to run back downfield? You know, who's calling them up in the huddle and looking them in the eye and challenging them to do right when wrong is just present. So that's a leader, not the locker room.
What do you see right there, ladies and gentlemen? You know what I see? I see nervousness. I see worry. I see doubt. I see the energy of, oh man, it ain't there. I see a coach that continues doubting himself. And you know what the hardest thing about life that nobody wants to mention, y'all? It ain't in the battle. It ain't in the game. The hardest thing to deal with in life, ladies and gentlemen, is expectations. Now you got expectations. Your expectations are, I got to overperform and double my wins. I got to continue to show growth and maturity. I got to continue to show that I'm developing men and superstar athletes. I must continue to show that I am worth the money that I'm going to be paid. Expectations kill careers, relationships, marriages, friendships, you name it. If your expectations do not meet what your mind says, you set yourself up for misery. My word of friend rest, I love to go to anybody. Don't expect anything. What? Be grateful. Nobody owes you nothing. Everything that you do must be earned. The minimal effort is worth it. Man, Kenny Crowder, you talking crazy, man. I deserve more than that. True. But to expect more, that's where you messed up. You don't need to expect anything from anybody. You just need to be grateful and happy with what they do for you. Coach Prime expectations are for him to double his win-loss total. And the way he's responding, the way he's speaking in his interviews, he ain't got to say it. I know that he's worried, as he should be. But as much as it's pain for me to say, he may be a tad overrated. His sons, his offense, his team, his philosophy, his speeches. I'm not a coaching guru. I'm not a coaching expert. But one thing I'm learning, you must continue to produce. Your weaknesses are very glaring. Your shortcomings, your staff, everything is being shown. How do you fix it? That is the $1 million question. And it's not easy to do. Don't give me the line and say it's easy to do. I ain't going to never lie to you and say it is. But one thing I do know, expectations are in the room. And when expectations are in the room, nobody care about no excuse. Don't nobody care about what you could or what you could not do. People care, is it done? If I go to McDonald's right now and I get me a fry, I don't care if the fries are why they ain't hot. You figure out why they ain't hot. I'm paying you to make sure they are. I don't care why it ain't working. You figure out why it ain't working. That's the expectation. It ain't about no shade. It ain't about no energy. It ain't about no issue. It's just what it is. The expectation changes the tone, changes the complex, changes the mind, changes the feelings. Expectation changes it all, ladies and gentlemen. While leading to that statement, I want you to understand something. When you get paid more, the expectations go up. When you do more, the expectations go up. The more your position entails, the expectation goes up. Expectations are the hardest thing in life. People don't get confused about the money that you make. No. It's the expectation that's now on your shoulders. How do you garner it? How do you grow it? How do you handle it? How do you maintain it? Life truly ain't hard. Dealing with the expectations make it difficult. For example, my team, the Dallas Cowboys, y'all look great today. Shout out to my boy D.A.K. We them boys, America's team, the whole nine. You know I love us. But Dak Prescott is going to have to deal with something. Expectations. You got paid. Well deserved, man. But now, you got to win the Super Bowl. Don't nobody care how good you are. Don't nobody care about how good the regular season is. Don't nobody care about the passing records. Don't nobody care about the regular season accolades. You are compensated to win the Super Bowl. Expectations again. Once you understand money's involved, fellas, don't let nobody lie to you. Money is based off production. If you are not producing and your fruits of your labor are not there, your production value will go down. Nobody cares about how the cookies are ready. They come out if they're good. So now that my guy Dak Prescott has got paid that mega million contract as the highest paid in the league, you better win. If you are a man and you are getting produced and you are highly compensated, you must win. If anybody else gonna tell you, I'm always keep it real with you. Don't nobody care about your feelings. Don't nobody care how it's done, when it's done. All they care about is it getting done. Do you finish? Do you complete? Do you finish your thought process? Do you make sure that your potential is matching up to what your words say? Your words and your actions are two different things. How much are you producing? How much are you showing? How much are you leading? All your actions must align and go in tune with each other. Nobody ever wants to hear the reasons why it ain't happened. They only hear what it must happen. For my example, the more you get paid, when people look at you. Let's go to bold prediction time. NFL MVP, Patty Mahomes. Rookie of the Year, Caleb Williams. Defensive Player of the Year, Micah Parsons. Defensive Rookie of the Year, Steelers cornerback. Most Improved Player over last year, wild card. You ready? Jalen Ramsey. Coach of the Year. You ready? Jim Harbaugh. I'm throwing these awards out there because, as we know, the NFL is a production-based sport. Off of game one doesn't mean anything, not really. You have to keep the momentum going. It's 16 long weeks, a long time, y'all, to the end of the season. It's a grind. It's a working relationship. NFL is a year-round program. We love sports. But one thing we got to go through and learn is that sports show you who've been working. Sports show you who've been working. Sports show you who've been putting in that work, who've been doing their thing, who's been coaching, who's been lifting, who's been eating right, who's been doing everything they need to increase their production and their production value. Remember, I am a lifelong Cowboys fan. Die hard, baby. To the death of me. I will never withhold that. But one thing I do understand is that when you get paid like our primetime players got to get paid this year, a.k.a. Dak Prescott, the gloves are off, baby. This is a make it or break year. If he don't win, start over. Trey Lance is the answer. He trash. It is what it is. It is now up to you to produce those flirts. I had some worries today. Trevor Lawrence, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson is still elite. Who's beating Patty Mahomes? Nobody. We got some worries. Week 1, A+. College was a solid C. We got some things to see. We do. Sports is back, and we are all excited for that. Moving on. Man, R.I.P. Rich Homie Quan. If you don't know who Rich Homie Quan is, he is a hip-hop artist. I think he was born, let me look at his information right now. Born in Atlanta. He was born in Atlanta, Georgia, man. If you did not know, he had his signature hit some type of way. Big-time artist on, excuse me, Birdman, Rich Gang label. Famously come on for that song, Some Type of Way. Rich Homie Quan tragically passed away of a drug overdose at his girlfriend's house. Men suffer in silence. Men have tragedies in our lives and we don't discuss them. Men deal with heartbreak with drug dependency, solitude, emotional distress, and being with ourselves. Rich Homie Quan died of an overdose. What does that tell me? He was self-medicating. He had problems that we don't need to dive into now because the man has passed on that he was struggling to deal with. He had issues that internally messed with him that he had to seek something to suppress his feelings. To take that many drugs, y'all, to kill yourself lets me know the problems were real deep. It's going to be depression, mental health anxiety, whatever things that man was dealing with. It was sad to see him go that way. Not only amongst his friends and family, but against somebody he was messed with. His girlfriend at the time could have been pregnant with a child, and she died there. The children were there, and they found him unresponsibly. Men, build you a support system, bro. It is important for men to have a social outlet because we have to understand that women are our nurturers. Women cannot be there to talk about our problems. All men need a healthy outlet. If you need help, man, seek therapy outside of your comfort zone of people you deal with. It is absolutely nothing wrong with you going through it and working through it and graduating it and processing it. It is absolutely insane for you to suffer in silence. The megastar that you once heard were Rich Homie, I understand what it felt like. I can't tell you at that level because I've never been at your level, brother. God rest your soul. But we know, Rich Homie, you was definitely dealing with something. Mr. Lamar, let me call you by your real name, and I apologize for calling you that. Mr. Lamar, you got your family out of poverty. Mr. Lamar, when you were living, you did great things. But we're going to allow this lesson to be used towards other men. We need love, fellas. We need happiness outside of your relationship. You need a purpose. You need something to keep you focused, something to keep you going. If you are dealing with issues, it is not cool to silently suffer through them. It's not. And Mr. Lamar, aka Rich Homie, the man, was dealing with something. He didn't figure out how to handle it all the way. He didn't know. But we all know that the answers could have been there. People could have checked on him. But what we got to learn from the situation is that moving forward, that there got to be a better way to have an outlet. All your friends should have checked on you. All the ones you made money for, you made business relationship with it. We got to understand that men need love. The love ain't easy to have, man. Crying it out ain't easy to do. Talking about your problems are never easy to discuss. But suppressing them, drugging them, not talking about them, drinking them, don't help you or your children. Now remind you, he has children. Hell, if I had a daddy. The saddest part was he was 34 years old. What can we learn from it? Number one, get your affairs in order, gentlemen. Him, what's the guy from Houston that passed away recent? Beat King. His was a health concern. Rich Homie Quan was a suffering in silence and drug dependency issue. We see it all the time. Men, your health is a priority. 2, your mindset, your depression, your social anxiety are a priority. Figure out a way to handle it. These guys are young men, bro. 39 and 34 years old. It is no reason in this world that you should be passing away that young. The goal is to extend the contract and live as long as you can. How do you live as long as you can? Try to stay fruitful. Try to stay happy. Try to stay pleasant. Try to uplift your spirits and address your problems. Remember, healthy relationships is what we all should strive for. Not perfect. Healthy conversations are something we should strive for. Not perfect. Healthy situationships with our friends, our neighbors, our family, we should aim for. Healthy sometimes mean uncomfortable. Healthy sometimes mean we argue, we fuss. Healthy sometimes mean we got to be uncomfortable for a moment. But I would rather for you to have a healthy, steady, and strong relationships than one that can tragically cause you to die, unfortunately. Pray for your soul, man. Check on your brothers. Hopefully your kids, your mother, and your child's mother have peace and longevity as you transition to your next phase. Mr. Lamar, forget your name, Rich Homie. Your persona is dead. But Mr. Lamar will live forever in the Lamar family. You make records, timeless songs. You are artists. You rose money. You rose your family out of poverty. You made records that will live eternally. Hopefully, you get that immortal peace and your spirit transfers. Black men, cry. Let it out. Find your village, find your people, talk about it. Make sure that you have a support system that will help you, without a doubt. Rich homie, I love you. Didn't know you personally. Mr. Lamar, I hope you find peace. Hope you and your family and your kids find what you need. And I hope that next chapter continues to prosper. Next. Rich homie's story was tragic, man. But everything we do here, we try to make sure it's a lesson. What did you learn from it? What was important? What was the gems from it? Yes, tragically, that issue happened. But number one, how do we make sure we don't repeat these actions? Next up, the story of Dame Dash. If you did not know, Dame Dash was one of the co-founders of Rockefeller. His meteoric rise was legendary. What he spent money on, saying he never wore the same shoes twice, how he made records, how he broke so many artists, how his philosophy and mindset about business changed the culture. But what we don't talk about Dame Dash is the man. This is the other side of the coin. When guys get money early and they don't focus and evaluate themselves, you get the money without going through those bumps and bruises. If you did not know, ladies and gentlemen, the journey of manhood is a long process. At first, I didn't understand it, but now I know why. I know why man's route must be harder, so we appreciate the climb. I'm in my climbing phase, and I'm climbing and grinding, doing as much as I can every day, but I understand why it is so important for men to earn their actions. And I'm not talking about Dame Dash's story. What I want to focus on is Dame Dash the man. Because one thing we must understand is that we have a story of two stories that happened in two different eras. We had 50 Cent that came to more of a street persona that had to grow and get out the mud and learn and build himself from his bumps and bruises. And we had Dame Dash, who had more success early, who stopped working on the man and he stopped producing. A video is worth 1,000 words. A clip is worth an entire image. I want you to watch the way Dame Dash referred to working class people, his clients, and people that work under him. Listen.
So you being selfish. Do you think your son enjoys you calling somebody else a boss? Don't you think your son would rather wake up with you and you could pick him up from school instead of having to do a 9 to 5? Don't you think? Yeah, all right, but don't you have to wake up at 4 in the morning? Don't you think your son would love if his name was up there, Dash, or whatever your last name is, instead of somebody else's? My pride is in my children. Like, look what I'm doing right now. Look at my son. I taught my son never to have a boss. He's 23. He owns a restaurant. He has cookies. He has equity. He busts his ass so he can pass it on to his son. If that's not what you hustlers for, you're selfish. You keep saying I'm worried about my kids. You worried about you.
My kids are good.
How they good? Your kids aren't going to be kids.
In theory, y'all, Dame is right. He has an aspirational image that I want my children to be entrepreneur spirit. I want them to have a legacy. I focus on my last name. It is nothing wrong with that. I love it. But to get on national airwaves and shame another man who is doing it, show me a flaw in Dame's armor. I'm going to show more parts of that clip, but I wanted you to see. Think about this for a second. The people that work under you need to be willing to follow you. Leadership shows that you will always have a boss. I answer to my wife, my key holder, my shareholders, my people, my peers, my clients, my people I work with. We all have to answer to someone. If you think a boss is a lifestyle, no. A boss has more responsibilities. Yes, you have multiple people you have to answer to. Yes, you have clients and other things that you have to do. But if psychologically your mindset is that I'm here because I do this professionally. Oh, as a man, you got a lot of development. You got on national airwaves and shamed a brother who was doing what he had to do to provide for his family. Even if I disagree, do I say that openly? Dame, you got a flaw. As a man, even if I disagree with your philosophy, how do I ever say you ain't doing what's right to provide for your family? You said that. You got on national airwaves and said that about a working black man. Shame on you, bruh. Did you know how ignorant you sounded? Did you know how shameful you were? Did you know that your father was a working class man that did the same thing and them like DJ Envy and them did? I'm never gonna shame a black man that didn't get an why would I do that? It let me know how disconnected you were. It let me know that you didn't process things beyond yourself. It let me know Dame has an idea that's very high, very great, very mighty, and I think what I do makes me to feel this type of way. No. Money doesn't qualify, man. This makes you more who you are. And it let me know in this moment, Dame Dash is too far gone. Let's show clip part 2. What you do when you have an ideology that does not fit. Remember, even if I disagree with you, I gotta respect you. Because my employees, my staff will watch how you treat people who can do nothing for you. Key gem, y'all. I watch everybody, how they tip, how they talk, how they act, how they respond, how they say thank you, how they deal with people in the service industry. Because if people serve you and you treat them wrong and nasty, you ain't my type of person. I don't care how much money, how much resources, how many things you have. How you treat the least of you shows me a lot about you. Part 2 of Dame.
Now, there's no money in this world for someone to pay me so they could call me, so I can call them a boss. That's like calling somebody daddy. How can a man call another man, yo, that's my boss? You know,
think about that for a second. Somebody has a boss or supervisor. You have to go through that phase. In Dame's world, in this time, you have a supervisor, you call him boss, and I'm learning from you. That's a negative. Daddy, I have a father. My daddy, I have spiritual fathers, mental fathers, real fathers, biological fathers, present fathers, mental fathers, sociological fathers, security fathers. I have so many versions of fathers that I've learned through. But Dame never had his real father. So that word became negative before he puts a word out about anything. I'm just giving you the philosophy behind the man. Because when we go into these type of discussions, the man and who we dealing with must be studied. We got to learn his rise, his fall, his lack, his ego. We must put ourselves in his shoes. Because to know where you're at now, we got to look at the stow and flow about where you were going. And right now, we're learning more about Dame.
You don't do that.
I mean, everybody at some point has to have a boss, right?
No, not in Harlem. Oh, okay. Put like this.
Most Black Americans don't even live in Harlem or own Harlem. They work till they had their address. Everybody has supervisors and things they have to answer to. No matter where you are, man, if you are an entrepreneur, you have clients that you have to respond to. You have judgments. You have judgments. So you have people. Everybody has people they have to answer to. To be successful in anything, you have to. Shareholders, stockholders, corporations, legal advisors, whatever you name it. We all got them. We do. But to say openly, I ain't got to answer nobody. I'm the boss. I do what I want to do. Red flag.
You're somebody's boss.
No, I'm not somebody's boss. I'm. When I was in the street, someone wasn't your boss. They gave you an opportunity.
Okay.
They gave you some work. You go make it, and then you bring it back. You can go buy your own work. You do whatever you want. It's called consignment.
So why this can't be all work? This corporate America, we could be using
you don't
this.
own it.
But I'm telling you. No,
I'm telling you why. I'm telling you why. Question.
Tragically, he doesn't own a lot of stuff he does now. So even though he's using these words and adjectives, remember this, y'all. He does not own the things he does now. So he is projecting his shortcomings.
Question. Let me ask you a question. Can you give it to your son?
Can I give what to my son?
Whatever you
shares
want
in this company, I absolutely positively can.
How?
Right, because I own shares of this company.
You bought it?
Yes.
What I'm saying is, can your son eat? Is this yours to give the whole company
this
to you?
This company is not my son's. No,
exactly.
It's not mine. But
wait, stop. Listen. That's not my question. If your son needs a job here, can you give it to him? No.
No.
If your son needs to get some money out the bank from here, some cash flow, can you get it?
No.
All right. You don't own this.
But I can take the money from here to invest in myself.
No, it's not yours. I'm not going to fight for something I don't own. Men don't do that. I don't fight for other niggas. I fight for me. I'm not a doula. I'm not going to build somebody else's company and then take shares so my son can go all that.
But I'm not.
No, listen. What I'm saying.
But what about taking the money?
You come to work every day.
You took the money from Def Jam.
I didn't take. Stop. Don't say you're speaking my business and you don't know what you're talking about. I ain't take no money from.
Number one, they are allowed to have their opinions if you give your opinion, brother. You can't be up on an open interview platform and shaming and somebody gives their opinion or their perspective. Why do you get frustrated by it? Flaw 2. You cannot do what you are not expecting. I'm telling you, even though I may be wrong, right in my message, I can get agitated if somebody questions me. Who knows what money you stole? I mean, not stole, sorry, put that accusation out there. Cash flow, things you use. Who knows? Who truly knows? But to get up on an open platform, remember, we're working class people, and to say this, naivete of the man.
Def Jam, what you talking about?
They cut you a check.
No, they didn't cut me a check. We had a formula based on performance, and they calculated, and we got paid.
That's
and they
us.
Stop. That's not us.
That's what we doing.
No. We listen. Before we had Rockefeller. We put up our own money for Rockefeller, right?
Okay.
Then we sold half of it. We became partners. So that means no one gave us anything. We were 50-50 partners. We built.
Love it. Love what he's saying in his introduction right here. Love it.
Something and sold it. That doesn't mean you work for somebody. See, they let you believe that. So then what happened was based on a formula. You want to know a formula?
Deepest thing. Look at this man's right there. Eyes down, no eye contact, no support, no head nodding. I wonder if the confidence is gone. I wonder if he rants and raves like this a lot and people don't even respond. Body language 101, y'all. Body language. Look at the murder move. Look at him beside him. Interesting. I'm going to keep going.
It was profit times a certain number. So if you make this much profit times 7, that's how much your number is.
Okay.
Based on that formula, they bought the rest. That's it. That's not nobody giving me money. I never worked for them. I put up way more money than Def Jam put up. Me, Biggs, and Jay put way more money up into Def Jam. I mean, rather into Rockefeller than Def Jam. All they did was collect our money. What you mean?
Subjective.
Why you think Def Jam? First of all, when we were with Def Jam, they were bought by Universal. How you gonna call Def? How you gonna think someone that's bought by someone could be someone's boss? That's my point. You have to understand what you're doing in business because you got to do what's best for your kids. What's best for your kids is to put your money in.
And I love that response right there, y'all. Doing what's best for your kids and your family and your future is incredible.
To something. The stress, go through all of it. So when your child becomes a man, he doesn't have to work for nobody.
Right, well, that's the
you
whole
can
thing.
just pass it to him.
Now you talk about
so you're gonna work 20 years in a business or 15 years in a business every day over and over again, and your son can't work here whenever he feel like it. You clowning me.
I don't want him to work.
But that's
here.
me. I'm not saying you. If you owned it, wait a second.
I'm here because
Time out.
I don't need a check.
That's stupid. You should be time out.
Because
That's when it went left. That's when it went left. But what I want you to pay attention to in that moment, y'all, is that even when you heard that moment, why are you speaking on that man's children? Why? Why? He's a father that provides for his wife, his family, and other people. He's doing what he's supposed to do. He's a producing man in the society. He's a producing man. Now, years later, I hate to be dirty and dog like this, but we gotta lay on a man. This is the response.
In other news, Dame Dash owes a lot of money. He owes New York City $8.7 million in unpaid taxes.
Yikes.
I'm going to do a little breakdown here because it gets really steep. There's a lot of money owed to different people. So there is $8.7 million in unpaid taxes. There is $832,000 that he owes to a guy named Josh Weber. That's the guy that he was going back and forth with in court over the Dear Frank movie. There is $145,000 in unpaid child support between 2 women that he has kids with, Rachel Roy being one of them. And basically what is going to happen is at some point, once the auction and everything is done, child support is.
Can another man say you're fired?
Absolutely.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna catch the end of it.
In other news, Dame Dash being one of them.
About the kids first. They want to make sure the kids are okay and the kids are taken care of, and then they come and get their money.
Yeah, so the New York City Department of Social Service will actually have first dibs according to the court documents. Since Dame Dash owes a total of $140,000, $145,096 in unpaid child support. Yes. So then after that, the money's going to filter to everybody else. And again, he's looking at, they're saying like he could receive money from whatever is left. In other news,
man, hearing those numbers, seeing that energy, I know exactly why Dame struggled. Number one, him and Jay-Z had a falling out that was legendary. We already know about it. You ain't got to like Jay-Z. You ain't got to respect it. He did finesse him. He did do some shady stuff. Let's put it all there. Post that, Dame has made some shady moves. His businesses, his artistry, his transgressions, the things he's done have not panned out. The phenomenal businessman that he said he was with his acumen, untrue. The one thing about life, it will always humble you. It will. The way you treat people will always come back to you. I believe that energy is transferable, man. And as much as we don't know, the way Dame talked to the Breakfast Club on an open platform, let me know so much about him. Just think about this. I'm willing to talk to radio personalities on the air calling them lame because they have bosses. I'm willing to make accusation and claims by saying you ain't doing right. My kids are better. What I'm doing is better. Can you imagine how he talked to his staff? Can you imagine how he talked to his artists? Can you imagine how can you just imagine it? I couldn't. But it lets me know the troubles he had. As much as I am forgiven, I love his spirit, I love his energy that he came with, I do understand he was not doing all of what he claimed. Guess what? What he was that he was a chest-beating guy. But when it came to effort, it wasn't there. Jay-Z had a famous line, you made one hole, make another one. If you that special, you that elite, find another one. Get in the trenches, listen to the music, listen to the beats. What are you actually doing? We know what you ain't doing. You ain't paying off your debts. You ain't making no money. We know all that boss talk sounds good until it's time to put the bread on the table. $150,000 of child support, that means you wasn't paying for years. That means you wasn't doing what you're supposed to be doing for years, damn. As sad as it is to hear, man, you reap what you sow. I'm not here to beat you down, but this is a reminding session to say, hey, you got a lot to do. Maybe you got to start from the ground floor, man. Maybe you got to reevaluate yourself. Maybe you got to start small. But we know your finance and your budget and all those things that you once did are not compatible and not there. My follow-up question is, what have you been doing business-wise? Measurable, showable. What ventures have you invested in that worked out? What things have you done and what you did? Show us. Don't tell us. That is a true sign of a boss. And the reason why that's so important, people got to understand how you treat people will show up on your records and how you deal with things. Dame treat people horribly. Through his actions, through his words, through his responses, through his tone, through his vocals, even shaming men. And what he's getting now, everything back in total. He's getting the shame. He's getting the jokes. He's getting the chastisement. He's even getting former business partners telling people openly, no, don't buy that. It's worthless. Let him suffer. Let him go to jail. Let's auction off his properties. What does he own? Does he have money in his account? Auction it all. Take the watch off his wrist. Do whatever you have to do to make it even. Dang. It's a story about the man that doesn't develop himself. about when you touch money early and you think the ego maniacal side can live with you. Dame is a story about the ego being infected and how you could talk to people that you don't know. Dame, the boss mindset, the boss talk, how it sounds good, but in reality, you work for everybody. In reality, service, customers, loving, relationships, all outweigh everything. That's the reality of it. On our next subject, we have 50 Cent, the iconic, memorable, factor, icon that living among us. 50 Cent took a different rise. When you think about it, he is the opposite of Dame. 50 loves people, man. I have never heard 50 shame, outshine, outlast working class people. 50 Cent does the epitome of the opposite. He doesn't wear fancy stuff. He doesn't downtrot anybody that has a job. He supports and uplifts them. 50, on the other side, is really a man of people. 50 ingratiates himself, keeps himself low, keeps himself humble. He talks about not spending over $400 on shoes and burning on property. 50 still has his day ones with him. He has people that still love and embrace him. I've seen Tony Young on live, Vlad, and says how much 50 Cent has helped him. 50 Cent rise. So we should study. 50 Cent is who we actually think Dame is and was. Street guy, rapper, producer, film producer, critic, everything he touches turns to gold, turning real life small town cities into $1 million results, going into Shreveport, building it up, getting artists, starting it from zero. 50 Cent. Work ethic, his artistry, his iconic status is who I follow. 50 Cent, man. Curtis Jackson, the legendary artist, the world-renowned figure, is showing right now the blueprint for all black men. Stay humble. Stay creative. Stay sharpening your skills. Film director, rapper, actor, television producer, businessman, mogul, born in Queens, New York, shot 9 times, an orphan. Film, music, and used that to catapult himself into his new career. 50 is never professionally educated. From the streets, self-educated himself. Did whatever he had to do to rejuvenate his image and his lasting image. 50 could throw on the streetwear, the suit, the corporate garb, whatever he has to do, he produces. You know what I love about 50 the most, y'all? He's quiet until results are going to be due. People talk a lot, not him. He ain't like Dame. He just do. The reason why these stories are important, black man, is you must see the arc of 2 guys. Who you could be, who actually applies. 50 Cent is who we all should aspire to be because our work ethic and our words will show transparently through. Dame is the guy that's all mouth and all words, but little effort is given due. 50 Cent puts in that work to let people know what it really is to be a boss. Not through words, but through actions. When I show up, it's going to be a source. It's going to be money. It's going to be opportunity. When I show up, we're going to brag and shut down cities and do more things than we've ever done before. That's who 50 is. That's the logic that 50 has. Those are the action and the clout he gives because he does it. He doesn't just talk like other people do. He shows through his efforts. And the parallels between Dame and 50 are pretty awesome when you think about it because one was just an artist, while the other said, I was a business mogul before he put his reps in to have them. Why am I focusing on this, y'all? Because as a man, you need those small wins. As a man, you need to get cut, to be built, to be developed, to go through the fire pit, to go through the losses. Why? Because you appreciate it. You can't skip steps, man. I needed to ride that bus for 10 years before I had my cars. I needed to know what it was like to not have nothing before I had my apartments and my places. I needed to know what it's like to live on my own before I can do anything that I often do. Why? Because if we don't do it, y'all, we don't respect it. There are blueprints given all around us from historical or current perspectives. The story of Dame shows what it takes when you try to use your riches and infuse them on people. The story of 50 shows what the effort and the off-season regimen and workouts actually produce something. These stories are so iconic. They need to be written about one day. I would love to do a movie about 50 versus Dame. I would. Because it shows work hard in silence, man, and allow your work and your results to speak for you. You ain't got to tell everybody what you're doing. You ain't got to pop out and show. You ain't got to wear new chains, new jewelry. Wear everything on your own. I never thought about it at the time, but 50 didn't wear anything but the Jew Unit brand. He was really repping his own thing by saying, unless you pay me to wear your brand, I ain't wearing it. You know how many rappers I don't see do the same thing and put their apparel on? Why are you wearing somebody else's stuff? Do what 50 did. Wear your own. Make your name and make your thing still pop, but you could use it even when you get old. It's phenomenal. It's transparent. It's honest. It's real. Dame sold his Rockefeller thing to get more money. He didn't even think about the appeal. He didn't even think about the transparency of it. He didn't think about how long-term it would affect him and his company. He didn't think about really passing it through. He was using all those big words that wasn't doing none of that energy he was talking about. 50. He used the G Unit studio, the G Unit brand, the G Unit action where the G Unit stands. He uses the word G Unit every chance he can, even though it was based on when he first came in the game. Think about it. G Unit stood for Gangster Unit, allegedly. G Unit stood for things that we gotta do. G Unit stood for a brand and a name that was a hardcore image out of New York City. Then it transferred to what it is currently. G Unit. Studios, G Unit Studio, G Unit thing in HISD. 50 Cent is the real icon that deserves that same level of respect and admiration that Dame gets that we do not give on a hot level of His Majesty. Why does that matter, y'all? I mention these things because in the man world, actions matter more than anything. I'm going to mention another man who I think is a phenomenal speaker, what he stands for. But the things he mentioned will show when your words don't add up to who you are as a man. Y'all know we all love Dr. Umar, right? We love him. But did you know his school was supposed to open
Earlier
up?
this year, some of y'all went in on me in the comments because I talked about Dr. Umar being a scammer. And he's a brilliant guy, great ideological perspectives, but he be scamming. And I talk about bad businesses and scammers on my page. Instead of arguing, I said, forget it. I'll come back to this post in September because this marks at least the 7th time in over a decade that Dr. Umar set a date for the opening of the school that he's been collecting money for over a decade. And this week is when he said the school would open, September 3rd to be exact. And like I said, I was once a fan. I advocated for him, but I'm not stupid. It doesn't take a genius to figure out what he's doing. He gives the date. He collects money from black folks. When it starts getting closer to that date, he starts blaming people and situations to prepare your mind to accept his latest excuse as to why it's not going to be ready on said date. It's the contractors, it's black millionaires not giving, it's the coons, it's everybody but him. Again, he said September 3rd. Y'all told me I was going to eat my words and I should apologize. I said I hope so, and I definitely will, because his idea sounds great. But once again, he moved the date saying it's going to be ready around Kwanzaa. What do you think is going to happen around Kwanzaa? I'm giving you the play for next time. We see him out there. He's got so much time begging D.L. Hughley for a debate, so much time to criticize Kamala Harris, tell us not to vote for her. But where's the school? And at this point, it just kind of sounds like Ray's boom, 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 because I don't think it's ever going to happen.
You know why that's so important? Why that brother said that, y'all? As a man, you are a judge of what you produce. Your actions and your words must align so much, fellas. If you are not producing and giving twice as much as your words say, it don't even matter. Umar is incredibly intelligent, incredibly bright, incredibly sophisticated. His words, his saying, his articulation are bar none. Who cares when you lie, cheat, and steal? Who cares when your reputation doesn't hold up to what you're supposed to be? Who cares if everything you said doesn't turn out and doesn't work? Why is it so impactful, y'all? We got to understand we are in a phase where your word separates us off. I love my words to separate more than my actions, man. Everything I say I'm going to do, I do, and I love it. Now, it's no on that scale of 50 or any of them guys, but I can see my momentum coming. I can see my businesses. I can see my organization. I can see my writing. I can see my enemy. I can see everything that I'm trying to do is starting to come together. And I love it. That is what separates most men especially when you are valuing and leveling up yourself. Your word, fellas. It didn't used to mean a lot. You used to hear that stuff about the street code, but your word matters so much. When you say you're going to do something, it got to be done. No questions asked. I shouldn't even have to call about it. I should say it's done, it's there, and hang up. That's how thorough you got to be. Why is that important? Because if you want all your things you want in your life, those are those qualities. Remember, stand up, be honest, be transparent, be thorough, be willing to listen, be honest. And most importantly, know that your family, your legacy is on you. And if you want those things to happen, undeniably, put on your shoulders. Mean it. Stand on it. Work hard for it. And make sure you thank King Crowder for that lesson. Woo! Thank you again, y'all, for another edition of Live on Sunday. It is your boy King Crowder back again, man. Please comment, like, and subscribe to the channel. It is so good to see my people again. Enjoy your week, man. Enjoy your family. Enjoy your conversation. Enjoy everything that you got coming up. If you did not know, this Tuesday is the great debate. We will be live after it or during it to point out who's going to win it, man. I'm kind of nervous, but I'm kind of ready because we all know Trump v. Kamala is going to be a legendary story. Stay tuned. Check on your family. Check on your friends. Call, text. Check on your relatives. What we learned from Rich Homie Quan. Check on your homeboy you ain't heard from. Check on your mama, your brother, your sister, whoever you ain't heard from in a while. I love you. Enjoy your night. Sleep good. Check in on your family. And most importantly, learn your story. It's your boy, King Crowder. Back again with another edition of Live on Sunday, man. So good to be here for a quick lesson because I know we're doing a double time this week. So excited to tell y'all about everything else that we got coming up. Remember, the book is still on pre-order if you need it. Things my parents wish have taught us. Live events, live social. Black Men Build Connections. Next events will be our skill exercise this Saturday. Tune in, tap in. I'm excited to see the fellas. Next 2 weeks, we have a cooking exercise and we have a soul placement event. I'm excited, y'all. I truly am. Love you. Enjoy your time with your family. And most importantly, never, ever forget about these subjects. Until next time. Peace.
you.